Scott Andrzejczyk again. Picking up where we left off, the emails from Mr. Sandrock to Mr. Eigelhart, we've already established the shenanigans that were going on to promote this idea that the FDP was behind it. And Mr. Sandrock says in these emails himself that the board does not have the public's consent and the public's support. Mr. Eigelhart's comments about there's no science in the area to be studied, it was based on assumptions, and we can even do another project. Mr. Eigelhart was very clear, and he also stated that not only in the emails, but also in his NBC2 News interview. The problem, as I said to you, Mr. Chairman, is that then Mr. Sandrock goes on camera and says exactly the opposite of what Mr. Eigelhart has said, and he makes this memorandum. And I didn't get to this last time, but one of the first points, the first point that he sent to you, all of you, and you've all seen this, is the reason we're moving forward for this project on several key points. The first is the science. So he tells all of this board that the main reason we're doing the sewers is the science, after Mr. Eigelhart says there is no science. You have no science. This is how Mr. Sandrock deceives this board, and unfortunately, all of you commissioners get painted with this brush that you accept what he's saying and that it's accurate and it's true. But those of us in the citizenry who are paying this $20 million tax know full well that Mr. Eigelhart spoke correctly. There is no pollution in the harbor from the septic systems. He states it very clearly that it was based on assumptions, and there was no study there. But yet Mr. Sandrock gets a memo out to all of you saying the first thing is based on science. Then he goes into a couple of other items here, and I'm going to have to go a little bit more quickly, talking about how the hookup should be mandatory, okay, which came out later because obviously people are not supporting the project. Then he talks about the consent order as being connected to this, but he knew full well from the emails that the consent order was from 2000, fully 7 years before, sir. So there's no way that he got that confused, and yet he goes on the camera and pretends like it was all a misunderstanding. Then I'm going to have a couple more emails to introduce. I'll have to do it next time because I don't have enough time today. But now I also have emails from Mr. Flores, Hector Flores, who is Mr. Sandrock's deputy assistant, urging Mr. Vinson to write a letter of support before the public hearing. And I'll talk about that next time. But my point is, as I said to you, we need a standard of excellence in here. You guys saying that Mr. Sandrock is better than before doesn't work. We have to have a standard of excellence, and this county should have in every position excellent staff. And that's what we don't have, and that's why we're asking for a vote from somebody on this board to remove Mr. Sandrock. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, this is citizen